What do you know about propaganda? Rather, what is it you think you know? The more I hear people talk about it, the more I'm convinced nobody has any idea what the hell it is. To many, it's little more than a pejorative used to describe media they don't like. Most of these people will say that we know something's propaganda because of all the lies, but is that really true? Folks, I have one question for you. Are you ready to talk about mass manipulation? Today, we are going to be talking about facts, information, and honesty as they relate to propaganda. Is it really all about lies? What is the truth of the matter? See what I did there? To many people, even some scholars, discussions about propaganda are often framed around this. It's the tension between truth and lie that guides how people understand it. It's the good guys who are honest versus the bad guys who lie and do propaganda. But things are more complicated than that. Folks, I want to reshape how you think about propaganda. I want you to understand propaganda through its mechanisms and its intentions. So let's get started. Now, the reason I felt compelled to talk about this is because of a video I watched recently from the YouTuber Metatron. In his video titled, "Did Black People Build Stonehenge? UK Children Book Says So," Metatron discusses propaganda at length. From what I can tell, his descriptions of propaganda largely revolve around this tension between truth and lie. Now, I'm going to show you the segment I'm talking about and link his video in the description because we do that here. If you watch it and feel like I'm misrepresenting, come back and tell me. Before I show you the clip, I want to get a couple things across. First, Metatron is a large YouTuber with about 1 million subs. Many of you probably know who he is. I understand he's covered topics in a way that many people have strong feelings about. If you're here expecting an epic leftist takedown of this fascist, racist prick, then you're in the wrong place, honey. There are plenty of lazy political pundits out there who are gonna do that stuff for you. I'm not here to take your side. And no matter how you feel about it, from what I've seen, Metatron typically does a pretty good job of incorporating both primary and secondary sources into his content, which, to be honest, is more than I can say for like 95% of you illiterate fucks out there. If you have any disagreements with him, that's fine. Just use sources to express that, not toxicity. Second, listen to me. If I see any of you in my comment section posting unhinged shit, I will destroy your life so fucking fast. Your money will be gone. Your belongings will be gone. And one day, you will wake up to find yourself in bits and pieces, scattered across 100 different dumpsters in your city. I am not... Actually, I am. I'm just kidding, okay? Seriously, though, don't be psychotic, okay? You all know what I'm talking about, okay? It's not good. It's not good. Don't do it. It's going to get you blocked from the channel so fucking fast. That's all, okay? Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Metatron.
So apparently, in the UK, something happened, and I kind of want to review it, because you know me, I'm always open-minded. I'm the open-minded one. I've heard that now history books in the UK are stating that Stonehenge was built by black people. Now, how about we review this statement? If the evidence is real, I have nothing against it. But because it comes from the UK, with all due respect to anyone in England right now, I don't know if this is a political move.
So that's the premise of his video. He's evaluating the claim that black people built Stonehenge. Some of you might want me to go through the facts of the claim and verify what Metatron says about it. I'm not going to do that. The reason why I'm not going to do that is because I'm American. And we have something over here that you little Europeans don't know about. It's called freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all that stuff is cool. But the best freedom we have is the right to not give a single shit about what British people think and what their little kings and queens are doing. No, the real reason is I'm not an ancient British historian, okay? It's not in my wheelhouse. It's not my expertise. I don't know much about Stonehenge. What I do know a thing or two about is propaganda, and here's what Metatron has to say about that.
Look, you know my position. Any narrative that is biased and it comes from a political message and enters schools is dangerous. I don't even care what side. It's dangerous because that's what happens, for instance, in the 20th century regimes. Look at the Germans in 1940s. I'm sorry I have to say Germans, but I cannot say the Nazi word or this is going to get demonetized. That's what they did. Same in Italy. That's what they did. It starts in school. Why does it start in school? Propaganda is a very powerful medium, and it can be used on all people in society. But when you use it to children, then the children are the people that suffer the most within society, because they haven't still completely, of course, developed the prefrontal cortex, their ability to distinguish something that is false objectively and something is true is really, it's not there yet. It's not fully formed. And so, of course, when you tell them something is true, then they'll believe it. And it's something that is being taught, and I say that as an educator, former educator, is you teach something to a child and it was wrong. And I know we have all gone through this, by the way. Something we were told, we were very young, they told us something, and then it happens to be false. And you're like, really? That was false? You believed it because you were either maybe your parents told you they were wrong, maybe your teacher told you they were wrong. I mean, look at the idea of plate armor is so heavy that you need a crane to lift the knight and put it on top of the horse. This is something I heard my history teacher say in middle school. This isn't something that was said by someone who didn't know anything. Well, yes, it was. I was told by a teacher. It was wrong. But did you have any way in middle school when you're 12 to think, I don't know if that makes sense, honestly. Maybe you could ask your dad, I guess, but it's difficult. And the younger you are, the more easily subject to the power of propaganda you could be. So once the message is established in your head, it's not easy to remove it. It can be removed, but it's not easy. And that's why what is taught in school is very important. What are you teaching these kids? That's what happens. I mean, yesterday, I read a little bit of the book Propaganda by Bernays, Edward Bernays, Freud's nephew. And it's a real thing. It happens. And so that's why I feel that we really need to look very closely on what is being taught to our children in school, because otherwise what propaganda does is that the children are fed the propaganda, the adults die, and they get breeded out. Now, in the previous nucleus, you had adults that agreed with your political ideas and adults that disagreed with your political ideas. Once these die out and the children have been indoctrinated, now you have a new pool, and this pool agrees with you. It's as simple as that. That's how it works. It's how consensus is fabricated. Social engineering.
So notice the themes here about truth and lies. He mentions these words multiple times.
False, objectively, and true is really, think it's true, then they'll believe it. And it was wrong. Then it happens to be false. That was false. They were wrong. It was wrong. Truth. What are you teaching these kids on what is being taught to our children?
He even describes himself as a truth supremacist, quote unquote, earlier in the video.
As I say on my account on X, I am a truth supremacist, I'm truth-centric, and I'm a liephobe.
He states, quote, "The younger you are, the more easily subject to the power of propaganda you could be," after giving multiple examples of children being lied to or told falsehoods in schools. Folks, I think it's pretty clear there is a conflation happening between lies and propaganda. And I don't think Metatron is alone here. If asked to describe propaganda, many people would probably incorporate honesty as a major component. If asked to give an example, most people would probably describe a time an opposing political pundit said something they disagreed with, which they automatically ascribe to dishonesty. Many people, probably many of you, understand propaganda through these terms. And here's the big problem. If you understand and identify propaganda in this way, you are going to be totally lost at sea. This is because propaganda is not just about telling lies. It's not just about getting people to believe in lies. It's about manipulating the cultural and psychological elements of a group in order to modify behavior and procure participation. Let's use some examples to demonstrate that propaganda cannot simply be about lies. First, Metatron in his video talks about the book Propaganda by Eddie Bernays, Freud's nephew. I'm glad he's read it. It's a good book. So let's take an example from it. In his chapter on the psychology of public relations, Bernays describes the difference between old school and modern propaganda mindsets. The old school mindset focuses on direct appeals and repetition to motivate action. He likens this to a piano salesman who says, "You, buy a Mozart piano now. It's cheap, the best artists use it, it will last for years." Bernays describes this approach as ineffective. It's in conflict with the claims other piano salesmen make. They all say the same thing, and it clashes with the reasons people make purchases. The modern propagandist has a different approach. They try to understand the psychology of decision making and find pressure points which not only influence those decisions, but the culture around them. The propagandist doesn't just want you to believe something, they want you to make decisions and take actions. Shaping the culture makes it easier for you to do that. Under this method, the piano salesman works differently. Quote, he will endeavor to develop public acceptance of the idea of a music room in the home. This he may do, for example, by organizing an exhibition of period music rooms designed by well-known decorators who themselves exert an influence on the buying groups. He enhances the effectiveness and prestige of these rooms by putting in them rare and valuable tapestries. Then, in order to create dramatic interest in the exhibit, he stages an event or ceremony. To this ceremony, key people, persons known to influence the buying habits of the public, such as famous violinists, a popular artist, and a society leader are invited. These key persons affect other groups, lifting the idea of the music room to a place in the public consciousness which it did not have before. End quote. This way, the idea to buy a piano is implanted in people's minds. It's kind of like Inception. The piano salesman no longer says, "Please, buy my piano," but the customer begs to be sold a piano. Through Bernays' book, we can see a description of propaganda that doesn't really involve lying or dishonesty. It's a bit like that scene from The Wolf of Wall Street. How do I sell you this pen? Well, I need you to write your name on that paper there. Boom. Now you need a pen. It's all a Fugazi. Oh, shit. You know what a Fugazi is? No, dude, I swear to God, don't do it. Don't do it. Hey, Fugazi, a Fugazi, it's a Wazi, it's a Woozy, it's a fairy dust. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not fucking real. Booyah! So fucking cringe. Anyway, let's move on. Let's think of another example. This time one that's a little less abstract. Whataboutism. Whataboutism happens when someone is trying to deflect criticism or avoid answering a question. To do so, they bring up past wrongdoings of the person or group criticizing them, usually ones that are irrelevant. How can the United States criticize me when they hit slavery and Jim Crow? This is something that's common in propaganda rhetoric. You've all seen them before. Why does this work as an example? Well, it should be easy to imagine someone using a whataboutism with entirely accurate claims. In fact, it kind of cuts against you if they're not true. How can the United States criticize me when they had human sacrifices? Dude, what the hell are you talking about? It's all a Fugazi. We can't think about whataboutism under the auspices of truth versus lies. We have to think a little deeper. So what's going on when people do a whataboutism? I want you guys to think of manipulations and intentions. Whataboutism primarily does a few different things. First, it suppresses criticism. It makes the critics feel bad, feel shame. It makes them question themselves. Should we really be criticizing them when we're no better? Second, it amplifies supporters. It helps people who are acting or supporting the actors feel better about themselves. It's a phony resolution to the cognitive dissonance that's going on in their brains. Well, if everybody else is doing it, why can't we do it too? Why are they treating us so unfairly? Lastly, it redirects the conversation. It puts the critics on the defensive and takes away time from discussions about the wrongdoings of the whatabouter. This is what's important, people. Propaganda is not about the truth. It's about feelings. It's about how the propagandists can create discomfort in their adversaries. It's about how they can offer fake solutions to their supporters' discomfort while manipulating them to act. It's about how they can shape culture and conversations. I'd like to take a minute, just sit right here and tell you all a story about yourselves. A lot of you right now are probably thinking, ooh, yeah, he's perfectly describing my political opponents right now. No, I'm not. Stop it. The person I'm talking to right now is you. I told you before, I'm not here to take your side. I'm here to challenge you to improve yourself. What you need to do right now is acknowledge your own susceptibility to propaganda. You and I both consume propaganda uncritically all the time. For most of us, probably daily. For many of us, possibly multiple times per day. If you don't have a healthy respect for propaganda, if you can't recognize your own ability to be manipulated, well, you might as well turn off the video right now, because I can't reach you. What I want you folks to do is start exercising some critical thinking. Now, what is that? It's something really basic that a lot of people think they do, but they don't. Critical thinking is not finding endless ways to criticize something. It is not brainlessly consuming whatever Twitter schizo posts you read while you're taking a shit. If you don't believe something just because it's coming from the government, you are just as much of a sheep as someone who does. Critical thinking entails asking questions that facilitate you building a deeper understanding of something. If you are exercising critical thinking, you should be appreciating the complexities of things, not distilling them into good and evil. You shouldn't just be critical of something based on the facts or the truth. Yes, those things are important, but you also need to understand how your own side, your own people try to manipulate you. Consider how you feel after you read something. Consider whether or not you were supposed to feel that way and why. Stop lying to yourselves and stop lying to me. There is no side that does critical thinking. There is no common sense party. It's a fiction. Work on yourselves and we'll all be better for it. So, if propaganda is about manipulation, how exactly do they pull that off? Well, I know one YouTuber who can actually explain it pretty well. Can you guess who it is? That's right, Metatron. Remember him? Now, I remember watching one of Metatron's videos several months ago in which he describes propaganda differently, and I distinctly remember being very impressed. He hits many of the same notes as one of my personal favorite propaganda authors, Jacques Ellul. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. In his video, Metatron describes the motivations propagandists seek to manipulate in order to compel you to act. Full transparency, up until the point of filming, I haven't been able to track this clip down. Still, I believe these were the exact words he used. 1. Social motivations, which have to do with your drive to belong. 2. Epistemic motivations, which have to do with your drive to understand the world. And 3. Existential motivations, which have to do with your drive to have a meaningful life. If I'm able to find this clip in post, I'll throw it up now. Hi, future me here. So, spoiler alert, I did not find the video, but I did find another in which Metatron describes propaganda along similar lines. It's a much more satisfying articulation than the previous clips, so I'll link it in the description and highly encourage you to check it out. It's good content. Now, back to the matter at hand. The reason why these concepts are so important is because these are your pressure points. These are your contributions to the existence of propaganda. Yes, you heard me correctly. Propaganda exists because of you. Think of it like anything else sold on the free market. If there were no demand, well, there would probably not be any supply either. Everyone wants these needs fulfilled. Everyone wants these in their lives. We all want to feel belonging and affinity for a group. We want to be integrated with them and have lively experiences with them. We want to feel important and cherished by them, and the other members in the group want to feel the same thing from us. We all want a framework for making sense of the world. The world is a big and scary place, and we all want to feel like we have a grasp on it. With all of life's busyness, though, it's next to impossible to build a true understanding of all the things going on. Yet we all still want to feel like we know. There's that word again, feel. Folks, you don't want facts. You want narratives. You need narratives. You need someone else to synthesize complex topics into something readable and understandable. Without it, you would be totally lost. Facts over feelings? No. You need to understand just how much your feelings drive your understanding of the world. We all want our contributions to be meaningful and our lives to be important. It's why people always give you those cliche lines when you ask about their work. Really? You just love helping people? Bullshit, Linda. You work at Abercrombie and Fitch. You and I both know you fucking hate it. We want to feel like we're participating, like we're driving society towards a better future, like we're saving the world. The propagandist intimately understands that you have all these needs. They recognize these not only as pressure points, but as ways of getting you hooked on their product forever, kind of like a drug dealer. They understand how to meet those needs, how to provide you with solutions to these areas of your life in which you might be deficient. Propaganda gives you purpose. It gives you a united in-group. It gives you an easy way to make sense of things. It does all. The problem is these solutions are temporary and artificial. They need to be re-upped constantly, and the propagandist seeks to be the only source through which you can get those needs met. The deeper you go, the more difficult it is to get out. The more twists and turns you've been led through, the more you've acted and participated, the more your identity is tied up with the propaganda. After long enough, you're transformed. You're alienated from yourself. You've become a sycophant, an addict, a husk. This is the danger of propaganda, not the lies. That's going to wrap us up today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell, etc.